to your questions.
Thank you. Inspector General Horowitz.
Thank you, Chairman Durbin, Ranking Member Grassley, members of the committee. I also want to begin my testimony by recognizing the many courageous gymnasts who came forward to report Larry Nassar's abuses, and by thanking Ms. Biles, Ms. Maroney, Ms. Nichols, and Ms. Raceman for their compelling testimony today. These gymnasts have showed remarkable bravery in detailing the sexual assaults they endured at the very same time they were competing at the highest levels for our country. They did so with the belief that their actions would save other young women and girls from the serial abuse they endured. Sadly, as detailed in our report, the response of the FBI agents who received that information betrayed their law enforcement responsibilities and their duties to these victims. Nassar's abuses could and should have been stopped sooner if appropriate action had been taken. Not only did that not occur, but after the agents' failures came to light, records were created that inaccurately described their handling of the matter and falsely summarized the testimony, as you heard of Ms. Maroney. Further, when called to account for their actions, 2 of the agents lied to our OIG investigators. The OIG was able to investigate and identify these failures only because of the courage of the athletes who spoke to our investigators. What they did was extraordinarily difficult, and I want to thank them for their cooperation and strength in coming forward and speaking to us. Because of their actions, critical reforms are being undertaken to ensure that events such as these do not occur again. Let me briefly just summarize the results of our investigation. In July 2015, USA Gymnastics reported the sexual assault allegations against Nassar to the FBI's Indianapolis field office. USA Gymnastics officials described graphic information that had been provided by Ms. Maroney, Ms. Nichols, and Ms. Raceman, and informed the FBI that all 3 athletes were available to be interviewed. However, it wasn't until 6 weeks later, on September 2nd, that the Indianapolis office interviewed Ms. Maroney by telephone, as you heard, and neither Ms. Nichols nor Ms. Raceman were ever interviewed by that office. Moreover, the Indianapolis office did not formally document its interview of Ms. Maroney at the time or its July meeting with USA Gymnastics. The office also didn't formally open an investigation or an assessment of the matter. Immediately following that September 2nd interview, the Indianapolis office and local federal prosecutors concluded there was no venue in Indianapolis for the federal investigation. Both offices also had serious questions as to whether there was federal criminal jurisdiction as opposed to state or local jurisdiction. Yet, the Indianapolis field office didn't advise state or local authorities about the allegations and didn't take any actions to mitigate the risks to gymnasts that Nassar was continuing to treat. Further, that office failed to transfer the case to the FBI office that actually might have had venue, despite informing USA Gymnastics that it had actually done so. After 8 months of FBI inactivity, in May 2016, USA Gymnastics officials contacted the FBI's Los Angeles field office to report the same allegations that it had provided to the Indianapolis office. Following this meeting, the LA office opened a federal investigation and undertook numerous investigative steps. But critically, it didn't contact state or local authorities, and it didn't take action to mitigate the ongoing threat presented by Nassar. It wasn't until August 2016 when Michigan State University Police, that police department, received a separate sexual assault complaint from another gymnast. And in September 2016, the next month, the MSU Police Department executed a court-authorized search of Nassar's residence. Among other things, they seized devices containing over 30,000 images of child pornography. According to civil court documents, approximately 70 or more young athletes were allegedly sexually abused by Nassar under the guise of medical treatment between July 2015, when the FBI first received these allegations, until September 2016. We further found that when the FBI's handling of the Nassar matter came under scrutiny in 2017 and 2018, Indianapolis officials provided inaccurate information to make it appear that they had actually been diligent in their follow-up efforts and did so in part by blaming others. In addition, it resulted in the Indianapolis supervisory special agent drafting a summary of his telephonic interview of Ms. Maroney from 2015. That summary included statements, as you heard from Ms. Maroney, that didn't accurately reflect what she had told them and could have actually jeopardized the criminal investigations by including false information that could have bolstered Nassar's defense. Further, we concluded that agent made false testimony statements to the OIG in 2 interviews that we conducted. We also learned during our investigation that in the fall of 2015, the FBI Indianapolis Special Agent in Charge, Jay Abbott, met with USA Gymnastics President Steve Penny at a bar and discussed the potential job opportunity with the U.S. Olympic Committee. Thereafter, Abbott engaged with Penny about both his interest in the U.S. Olympic Committee job and the Nassar investigation, while at the same time participating in Nassar investigation discussions at the FBI. Abbott applied for the U.S. Olympic Committee position in 2017, but wasn't selected. We determined that Abbott's actions violated the FBI's clear conflicts of interest policy. We also found that Abbott made false statements to the OIG and my agents in 2 interviews that we conducted. I want to conclude my testimony where I started by recognizing the courage and bravery of the extraordinary gymnasts that we heard from today and that we've heard from and that came before law enforcement in other settings. Their persistence and strength are an example to all of us who work in the area of accountability and who want to promote accountability. Although the sexual abuses by Nassar and the appallingly inadequate response by the FBI agents cannot be undone, these athletes' commitment to justice and their pursuit of accountability for all involved in this deeply tragic series of events will improve our institutions ultimately and will help ensure federal law enforcement responds in an appropriate and a timely way to reports of sexual abuse in the future. Our report recommends several important and necessary reforms. As Director Wray indicated, the FBI has begun taking them, and we will continue to conduct our independent oversight work to ensure that they're effectively implemented.